My pleasure. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, sir. So we have the first question from Agarwal. He wants to know that in photography, what is more important, the right equipment or the understanding of the subject?
Simple answer. Is the pencil more important than the writer or the poet?
No, sir, absolutely not.
Simple answer. So eventually, it's the person behind, their thoughts behind, which are going to matter. Equipment is just a tool. So a pen never writes a poetry. The poet would write the poetry. So it doesn't matter whether the poet will write the poetry with the A brand of pen or B brand of pen, or may not be writing with the pen at all, maybe just using the pencil, or may not write the poem at all. He would just recite a poem somewhere. So equipment is required to express in a particular medium, but it's not a necessity. It matters a lot, but it matters mostly in the commercial circle. I would say people, the photographers actually have developed a habit of kind of boasting about their equipment, but you would never find a painter boasting about their paint brushes, or a poet would never boast about ये कविता ना मैंने वो वाले पेन से लिखी थी. They would never do it. It's the photographers who are actually more of camera operators. The genuine photographers are still not going to be talking about their equipment because it's just a tool for them.
Yes,
Over
sir,
to you.
rightly said. Thank you, sir. Sir, now I would like to ask this particular question myself that earlier we had floppy disks, they changed into CDs, then hard disks, and now to Blu-ray. So similarly has been with the cameras. So sir, is it possible that in the future everyone is a photographer? Like what is the future of photographers in this generation?
Is this question to me?
Yes, sir, to you.
Okay, simple. Everybody is already a photographer. Why don't you think that you are not a photographer? Everybody is taking pictures with cell phone. So nobody may have pushed you, but you are already a photographer. Now, will photography survive? The answer is yes. Pressing the button is not necessarily creating a wow photograph. So there would be requirement of visual communication. That's where photography would still be learned. It would still be practiced, and photographers will definitely be in business. When it comes to visual communication, pressing the button alone will not going to give you a parallel example. If I start communicating in a language which you don't understand, will that solve your purpose of communication? The
No,
answer
sir.
is no. So why do we create photograph? It's because we want to communicate visually. If I fail in that visual communication and I boast about, do you know, my camera is so and so brand, it is costing me so and so thing, it has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K features, but I fail in communicating visually what I want to communicate, I fail.
Absolutely true, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
So moving on, we have the next question from Aditya Wadhwa that how can one educate themselves to take better pictures? From your experience, could you please share how you take an interest in this field and what were the ups and downs you faced?
Ups and downs are directly correlated with your emotional up and emotional down. How do you take picture is that you need to learn to feel the moment. So photography is less of technical aspect. There is technique, but let's say like I teach students and I categorically tell them that once you study photography, let's say for 2 years, they and me are both at the same level in terms of technical gyan, but that does not automatically translate that they would be able to create wow images by default. And that also does not apply to me that since I've been practicing photography past 35 years, by default every picture I'm going to click will be a wow shot. No, not necessarily. It's about inner communication happening throughout the surrounding. So a simple tip is, why do you want to click? You should have that one reason. What emotion are you feeling connected? Let's say I should since My school days, I remember, I used to love early morning sunrise. Our school was 11 kilometers away from my home. So we used to go through bicycle, and every morning we will witness the morning sun. So my love for landscape photography and sunrises and sunsets or nature started from that era. I still have the kind of stupid ability that every day I can watch early morning sun rising or sun setting. Isn't that stupid? It's the same sun. But
No,
no, that
sir.
stupid idea, I have a very strong connection, which I feel in my heart. That's exactly the reason why I still love to shoot the same old sun which set yesterday, and again in the morning it's coming up. So it's kind of stupid, but since I feel emotionally connected to those moments, I shoot. So my visual, if you look from earlier days as well as today, it's the same sun. So last 35 years old photograph still has the same sun, but the connection each day is very different, which is why the shots are very different.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, now the next question we have from Navya, and she wants to know that we use the HDR mode in our mobiles for photography. So, sir, when we go outdoors, like wherein we shoot the clouds or there is some reflective surface, so should we continue with the HDR mode or is Pro mode better to use then?
Both are different. Navya, the Pro mode will work differently and the HDR mode will work differently. Pro mode is full manual mode. Nothing in that camera will be set automatically for you. Nothing. When I
Yes.
say nothing, nothing will be set automatically for you. Whereas on the other hand, the HDR mode is full auto mode. You will have no control except the focus. And in
Yes.
some cameras, they will allow you to change the exposure to EV plus minus. That's the only control you will have in HDR mode. Now, the point is, should you always use HDR mode? My answer is no. It can be counterproductive. HDR, the full form is high dynamic range. Now, this ranges from that when the film's manufacturing was happening, we were having a limited bandwidth of how much we can capture light, means how many dynamic range we can capture from light to dark in one single negative. And then we had multiple ways of developing that film to low contrast or high contrast. And then we had furthermore ways to develop it on hard grade paper or soft grade paper. So the younger generation is not physically connected with this process. You simply have a much simple process. Press the button in HDR mode and the results will be wow. HDR mode will only work very well when the dynamic range is really beyond the sensor range. That's the time the camera will automatically click 3 to 5 pictures in quick succession and automatically merge itself within the mobile phone. So bright sunlight, high contrast scenes will definitely make good use of it. If you happen to shoot journal street photography, that too in a high dynamic range mode, it would be counterproductive for you. So it's only to be used in high dynamic range scene. High dynamic range simply means high contrast scene where a lot of shadows can be seen and a lot of brights can be seen.
Yes, thank you, sir. I would now like to open this discussion for some live questions. You may please raise your hand if you would like to ask something from sir. Yes, Utkarsh.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, this is Utkarsh from DPS Vasundhara.
Mhm.
Sir, I have question that how does a photographer look at things differently from a common man? What should be your advice to us as budding photographers in looking at things and improving observation as well as boosting our creativity?
Can I share something with this large audience? It might surprise you and shock you, but our schooling system kills our creativity. We all are born creative. Our schooling is more making us to set goals and then achieve those goals. Trust me, this is where the whole photography process is different. Me, wake up in the morning wanting to shoot sunrise does not set me a goal that I am going to definitely succeed today in creating one of the best sunrise shots. I'm absolutely trained to embrace the worst shot of my day. And I am not going to take it to my heart that, oh, I failed. अब हमें स्कूल में फेलियर नहीं सिखाया जाता है. And as a good photographer, trust me, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times I fail in a day, it least bothers me. So in nutshell, हम लोग कैसे डिफरेंट देख पाते हैं? हम फेलियर से नहीं घबराते. That is where we start our journey. कैमरा, अभी मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले एक आंसर दिया कि after 2 years of technical training, you and me would be almost at par. You would know exactly what I'm doing. The difference would be how I perceive, how I see. So your question is, how do you see things differently? Our thought process is not bound in logical boundaries. Right, wrong, pass, fail. We are not bothered with that. Is this the right shot? Is this the right moment? No, it may be the wrong moment. So what? We are not bound by the technological aspect of our cameras, although we are using the technology. क्या इसमें मुझे HDR मोड शूट करना चाहिए या मुझे मैनुअल मोड में जाना चाहिए? If the moment is very momentary and split second में मेरे सामने से वो शॉट निकल जाएगा और उस मॉर्निंग में वो शॉट शूट करने के लिए मैंने प्लान ही नहीं किया, should I even be pressing the button? Because वो तो शॉट मैंने आज प्लान ही नहीं किया था. Is something like आज 4 बजे ये मीटिंग शुरू होनी थी. अगर वो 4:02 पे मेरे सामने एक वाव शॉट है, should I be attending this meeting or should I capture the wow shot? Your and my answer would be different. I would be sitting here, I will remove this, दूसरा फोन मेरे हाथ में है, दो shot, I'm back in the class. So I can multitask. This is an ability as a photographer you would have to develop, and schools definitely can play a major role in unblocking the creativity.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Okay, so next we have Kia, please.
Yes. Hello, sir. I am Kia
Hey.
Kavlani from Amity International School, Noida. I wanted to ask that what inspired you to take up photography as a profession?
And that's interesting. I was very good in arts, but I was never encouraged for arts. I was almost encouraged towards science because my family background has more of science, which is what most of the parents do. That हम लोग 12 साल स्कूल में पढ़ लेते हैं और हम सब्जेक्ट्स वही लेते हैं जो हमारे पेरेंट्स हमको चूज करने के लिए बोलते हैं. So almost the similar case was with me also, that I'm more of science student. I've not studied arts formally at all, but I don't do in my profession anything related to science, except that I have developed a very strong logical brain. I have good understanding of science, but I was excellent with arts from a very young age. So I used to have liking of sketching as well as painting. And over the years, when I started observing things, I figured out that I have a kind of psychological impact when I see the light. This could be a simple ray of light coming through the trees, and I can watch like a stupid person. Wow. Yesterday also I saw the same light while returning from school or while going to the school, but I would watch that ray of light every day like a stupid thing, as if something new has happened. But that was my fascination towards the environment. Today, when you see those kind of images being captured, then I realize it is because I was fascinated to those subjects, which is what inspired me. And I took up photography. So I took up photography after my 10th board, just purely as a hobby. I had no intention to take it as a profession. But within those 2.5, 3 months, I realized it's damn expensive hobby. So how do I going to finance it? So one way of financing it, go to your parents, ask for mama, ye camera chahiye, papa ye chahiye, papa wo chahiye, and so on, blah, blah, blah. So that's one way of doing it. Second was, no, I want to make it a profession, and I entered into a profession which fuels my hobby till date. So mind you, in spite being 35 years in photography professionally, I still maintain the hobby side of me as photography.
Thank you so much, sir. That was such a wonderful answer. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Stuti, I would like you to unmute yourself and you may ask your question.
Yes. Hello, sir. This is Stuti Puri from Amity International School, Noida. I would like to ask that how do I learn how to pose people?
How to pose people. One, you have to try it. I didn't learn. It comes naturally to me by observing. So observing skill is, let's say, you want to shoot my portrait and I'm sitting like this. Observe, is that comfortable position for shooting portrait? What's your answer?
No.
Why not? I'm relaxed. Shoot me in a relaxed way.
But that's not what I am looking for, na?
Yeah. So that gives you your own answer. What are you looking for? So that is something which you need to try subconsciously. Don't use your logical brain. Now, why I'm bringing this again and again, because I also have come through the same schooling where our logical senses are developed far, far more than our creative senses. So when I asked you a question, don't you think in these kind of meetings, should I even be behaving like this, the way like I was doing it? I do it. I may be in a formal meeting, but I'm absolutely casual. Absolutely. I can walk into a boardroom full of 50 people in absolute casual, and I will have no problem at all. But what matters is, what do I deliver there? Why am I going to be there? These kind of senses came to me much after schooling when I started working professionally. This is all subconscious capability. Trust me, your subconscious is 10,000 times more capable than what your logical senses are. So those 12 years of schooling and few years of college only grooms us for our professional life. Photography is more about grooming yourself as a person. Your personal liking, your personal disliking, your personal interaction with your surrounding is where you will learn to express. So let's say you didn't like this pose. The second question would be, what do you want? How do you want me to pose? Let's say I'm excellent in posing. How would you go about it? And I'm serious. Do it right now. Stuti?
Yes, I would like to sit in a formal way.
Okay. Okay. So is that okay? Me stiff?
Well, little kneel down
Okay.
so that I can see your face
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's it.
Yeah. Now, when you click a picture, it may represent and it may portray me, my real version, or it may portray me, your version. So your version is the way you asked me to pose and I did it. You might be okay. Others might not be okay. So somebody who knows me and sees that image, oh, is this a Ranjan Sharma? No, it doesn't look like. So you fail in that situation. So you as a photographer, if you want to pursue photography in portrait or people, observe people. That will really, really help you. So I'm absolutely okay to capture candid moments as well as posed moments. So in posing, I would, let's say, how should I be getting photographs? So my favorite poses, and that's a simple tip for all who are attending this. Never ask somebody to face straight to the camera. Shoulders absolutely straight, face is also straight, eyes are also. That's a very typical passport kind of a photograph. You sit slightly angular. So your shoulders are not straight, but angular, either this side or the other side. And this way, rest somebody or on something and then smilingly look towards if you want a pleasing smile. Otherwise, you can portray various other emotions. It's not necessary that you always want your subject to be happy or smiling. I can be angry. Let me show you anger. Yeah. Now that's anger. Now that's one expression. Do you want that angry portrait or not? That you will have to decide. I, as a human, have good amount of anger also. I can portray that also. So what you want to portray is up to the photographer. Now that photographer can only do it if you as a photographer are connected with your own self first and then has a keen observing capability of a person's interaction happening with the other people.
Yes, sir. So, sir, as per me, for the candid photo, the subject matters, and for the normal photo, the style of the photographer matters. Am I right?
It can be both ways. It can be both ways.
Okay, sir. Thank you for replying.
Okay.
Madhav, you may ask your question now.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Madhav from Delhi Public School, Ghaziabad. And sir, my question is that in in such a pandemic wherein we all are sitting at homes logged, what can we what can we do to keep ourselves motivated to click photos?
Madhav, you seem to be looking for motivation out of your external own self. I think that's not going to really work. That would be a temporary band-aid solution. It should be coming naturally to you. So I can't really answer what you should be doing. You can watch TV. You might be inspired about something, provided you are keenly observant. So if you're not keenly observant, no amount of artificial motivation brought to you would work. So what motivates is the internal communication. As I said, I gave you an example कि मुझे formal meeting में 4 o'clock have to be present. But at 4:02, that is just 2 minutes after me entering into this formal meeting, I see a wow movement happening in front of myself. Should I shoot it or not? Reason of me shooting it, it inspires me. So I so-called logical rules that I am in this meeting, I behave slightly different and look somewhere else, and I click that photograph. Is this bad manners? Probably yes. Probably yes. That's exactly what I was taught in schools. So it's a bad manner when I'm attending this formal. I should be only here, not. But trust me, my mind is, even while I'm talking to you, although I'm in a room right now, but my mind is wandering here and there, here and there. That's the very nature of the brain. So why should I be even stopping it? So looking for inspiration is everywhere. There is a simple task which we photographers give. Just give yourself a task, everybody. Give yourself a task, maybe just after this meeting or tomorrow morning sometime. Sit comfortably in any one place. Don't move for next 1 hour from that place. And within 1 square meter of you, wherever you're sitting, try to create wow photographs. You are not allowed to move at all. Trust me, you will be inspired by that surrounding, provided you are sensitive enough. So this question, where should I look for inspiration? Within that 1 square meter, that is more than sufficient. You don't have to go hunting.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Upasana
you so
ma'am,
much, sir.
Upasana ma'am, you wanted to ask something?
Yeah, I think Upasana ma'am also has some question. We have
Okay.
one teacher with us, Upasana ma'am. You may
Yes.
unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, ma'am. I have some participants on the Zoom here.
Okay.
Those who could not join Teams directly, I have made them join here. They are asking, one of them is asking, how can we achieve sharp focus?
By learning to focus, first internal focus, that's very important. Tirtha is laughing. Tirtha, what do you say? In fact, you should be answering that question. Tirtha?
Well,
Yeah, please answer that question.
I hope you can hear me. All of you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
The Zoom participants, are you able to hear them? Zoom participants, are you able? Okay, thank you. Thank you,
speak?
sir.
They can hear?
Yes,
sir. Go on.
Okay.
Go on, sir.
There's one thing, I would stress on that. That is, start trying to learn in an old-fashioned way and then take up the new equipment. Today, we have auto-focusing mechanism, and we are very much dependent on it. We don't even know how it works, and that is why we often create images which are not properly focused. First, learn to do a manual focusing. Any camera which has a manual focusing system, and train your eyes to manually focus. Next step, try to know how the focusing mechanism works. Then you will also know what are the limitations of that mechanism. In any DSLR camera, you can do a manual focusing system, although it is an autofocus camera. Why do they provide that manual focusing system? It is only because there are conditions where the autofocusing system will not do the job successfully. That is where you have to take over and do it manually. After all, keep one thing in mind, all these automation kind of things, they are done through software programming which human beings do, taking into consideration lot of parameters. That does not mean that you can do everything anywhere and everywhere. Sometimes, particularly, I'll give a small example. Under low light condition, often your cameras will not be able to do a good, correct focusing. And in some equipment, there are additional light sources, like in Nikon cameras, they have a focusing light source which lights up when the light illumination is low. In certain areas, they use infrared, and all those things are there. But when I know the mechanism, I know this is a situation where the focusing may not work properly. I'll do it manually. And for that, you have to learn how to do manual focusing.
So,
right?
Tirthoda, I have a supplementary question from students' point of view.
Okay.
Our generation has learned over the years to manually focus and
Yes.
be confident that, okay, after 3 years, now I'm sure that at one click, I would be able to achieve that sharp focus. Today's generation feels huge amount of pressure कि मैं तो अभी फोकस ही सीखने में लगा हुआ हूँ, बाकी मेरे सब जो फ्रेंड्स हैं जो फोटोग्राफी सीख रहे थे उनके पास तो एडवांस कैमरा है और उनके पास तो सब कुछ ऑटोमेटिक पिक्चर्स भी आ रही हैं, दे आर डूइंग ग्रेट एंड आई एम हियर लाइक अ स्टूपिड पर्सन learning how to focus, that too in the era of full automation. Should I be even doing that?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Because maybe at this moment you'll feel so, but after a certain time, you'll find that person who was ahead of you, kind of, they are behind you and you have gone ahead of them.
So all the audience, just for your information, it has been 35 years in photography. I have the latest brand of Sony cameras. Trust me, I still focus manually.
And only when you learn to do manual focusing, you will also learn to see whether the image has been focused properly or not. So even when you are using autofocus, you will be able to identify whether the autofocusing system is doing justice or not. You will be able to identify it with your own eyes. So that helps. You use autofocus, but you learn to identify whether it is correctly focused or not once you have practiced that. I don't know why my image here I'm seeing as a mirror image.
Okay, but we can hear you. So
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, because we have actually pinned you on the screen so that the children are able to see a larger view of it.
Okay, okay.
Another question from the Zoom attendees.
Okay.
What makes a good picture? What all points should be considered, from Arya Mehrotra?
Please go ahead, Dada.
This is a very difficult question to answer, because somebody would say a picture to be good and another person would be saying not so. So it's very difficult to say what is the definition of a good picture. From the technical points, yes, it can be discussed. It should be correctly focused. The exposure should be good enough so that you get all the tonal variations and all those details and the highlights and the shadows. But aesthetically, there are a couple of things which are sort of, you know, specific to a person's liking, specific to a culture, and so such variations will keep happening. So it's very difficult to say what is a good picture. But yes, one thing which I feel what's going wrong these days, uh, we straight away jump into creating results.
Yes.
Without learning the basics. I want immediate results. Nothing can be shortcut. Nothing can be shortcut. One has to go through a lengthier process. And I would share over here, this is a very personal opinion. I feel photography is probably a more difficult subject compared to many other subjects that we study in our schools and colleges. Why I'm saying so? When you're studying physics, you're studying physics. When you're studying history, you're studying history. And in general, a person who's studying art subjects is scared of science. A person within science who's studying physics is scared of chemistry. But photography is a multidisciplinary subject. To understand photography thoroughly, you need to have a certain amount of knowledge in science, physics, chemistry, today electronics and computer science a little bit, softwares a little bit. At the same time, you have to understand art and aesthetics, and for that you need to understand psychology. In psychology, there's a chapter called perception, and there's a sub chapter in perception which is called visual perception. Excuse me. Anybody who's working with visuals has to understand visual perception. How do we see things and make a meaning out of it? And that is all dealt with in the chapter of visual perception. And unfortunately, today I find that even in our art colleges, visual perception is not taught. And without understanding perception thoroughly, it is difficult to understand how the picture will be interpreted by the viewers. And only when I know how they would interpret, I can take a decision of how I would create so that they interpret the way I want to convey the message. So all these things together, one has to be sufficiently uh, knowledgeable in all these disciplines to do good photography. So learning photography is very important, and learning photography does not mean YouTube and Google and all that. In a structured manner, one has to learn. And there are a lot of things which I was discussing with uh, Anil over the past few days. I felt that there were a couple of things that I would like to address on to DPS Ghaziabad as well all the other participating schools, how they can do better to help these students to get into photography in a better way. Because there are a couple of things that I've noticed, and I felt like addressing those things that we can do at the end of it. Let's go ahead with the question and answers. But see pictures made by very eminent, acknowledged photographers from all over the world. Then you will understand what is good photography. Minimum amount of distractions should be there in your frame. That is one major point which I would only add over.